While the world has been fixated on the toll booth at the Strait of Hormuz, a second, even more dangerous gate is starting to swing shut. On the 28th of March, 2026, the Houthis in Yemen officially entered the war, firing a barrage of cruise missiles and drones at strategic sites. Their biggest threat? A total blockade of the Bab-al-Mandab Strait. For now, the water's still open, but for how long? If the Strait of Hormuz is the world's gas station, the Bab-al-Mandab is the world's front door. If it closes, the global supply chain doesn't just slow down, it breaks. Welcome to the Global Dig series of Torah Explores. Today, we're looking at why this 20-mile gap is the most sensitive artery in the world, and what happens if the Houthis decide to pull the trigger. The name Bab al-Mandab translates to the Gate of Tears. Historically, it was named for its treacherous reefs and unpredictable winds that wrecked ancient ships. Today, it is a narrow 20-mile, 32 kilometers wide gauntlet. Just like Hormuz, it's a bottleneck. It is divided in two by Param Island. The Western Channel is the highway for big tankers, at 16 miles wide and 650 feet deep. Through this gap passes 12% of all global maritime trade and 30% of the world's container traffic. Unlike the deep, open waters of the ocean, ships here are sitting ducks. They have nowhere to hide from land-based missiles or the swarm of small Houthi suicide boats. As of the 30th of March 2026, the Houthis have not yet imposed a full blockade, but they have already demonstrated they can disrupt the strait at will. They possess an arsenal of Asif anti-ship ballistic missiles with a 400 kilometers range and Shahed series kamikaze drones. Even a single strike on a commercial vessel would be enough to make the entire Red Sea uninsurable. Major shipping giants like Maersk are already hesitating. Traffic through the Red Sea in early 2026 was already down by 60% compared to previous years, due to lingering tensions now. That traffic is threatening to drop to zero. The Houthis are currently using this as a lever to support Iran, waiting for the next phase of the war to decide if they will fully close the gate. This is the nightmare scenario known as the double choke. Right now, the Strait of Hormuz is restricted, but Saudi Arabia has a backup, the East-West pipeline, which is pumping a record 7 million barrels a day across the desert. That oil ends up at the port of Yanbu on the Red Sea coast. But to get that oil to the world, tankers must pass through the Bab-al-Mandab. If the Houthis close the Gate of Tears, they effectively cut the world's only remaining major oil lifeline. Closing both straits at once would remove nearly 30% of the world's seaborne oil from the market instantly. That is a total economic checkmate. If the strait is blocked, ships must reroute around the Cape of Good Hope in South Africa. This isn't just a small delay. It adds 4,000 to 6,000 nautical miles to every trip, adding 14 to 20 days of travel time. For a large container ship, that detour costs an extra $1 million in fuel alone for a single trip. This extra time at sea creates a global shortage of ships. Because every ship is busy for an extra 3 weeks, there are 40% to 60% fewer ships available to pick up new cargo. The energy shock would be massive. About 8% of the world's liquefied natural gas, LNG, normally transits here. Those flows to Europe have already effectively dropped to zero as of March 2026, as carriers refuse to take the risk. We are at a knife's edge. As of right now, the Bab-al-Mandab is still technically navigable, but it has become a ghost route. Brent crude oil has already surged to $116 a barrel, the biggest monthly rise in history. The Philippines has already declared a nationwide energy emergency because they simply cannot get the supplies they need. The coming weeks will decide if the Gate of Tears becomes a total blockade. If it does, the global just-in-time economy we've relied on for decades might be over. Let us know. Have you noticed a delay in your deliveries or a spike in prices? Iran's next move could change everything. What's your take? Let us know in the comments and join the community by subscribing and liking the video. It really helps us. See you next video.